Hey, what's up guys? Jacob here. I just got done working out and I was making a smoothie, and I was like, man, I should make a video on what I learned on how many carbs to have after your workouts. Okay, so if you're trying to get gains, you need to follow these guidelines. I follow these guidelines pretty strict myself. If you're trying to cut weight, make sure you follow these guidelines or slightly stay under. But really, if you're trying to increase performance, if you're trying to build muscle mass, follow these guidelines like it's your religion. Okay, so basically my point's going to be primarily on carbohydrates. But how many carbs to have after your workout? So after your workout session, there's a 30-minute window, and then there's every 2 hours for the next 4 to 6 hours. Okay, and the general guideline for athletes, for people that are trying to see gains and improvements in their performance, improvements in their muscle mass, that guideline is going to follow 1.5 grams per kilogram of body mass. Okay, so what does that look like? For me, I weigh roughly 90 kilograms, more or less around there. Okay, I just hit about 200 pounds. So we're just gonna go based off of 90 kilograms. If I'm gonna have 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight, that is going to be 135 grams of carbs. That is 135 grams of carbs in my post-workout meal. So like, boom, I just made a smoothie right there and had some cantaloupe, put back carbs, also had protein in that. Protein intake is gonna be about 20 to 30 grams in that little bunch right there. And then every 2 hours for the next 4 to 6 hours. Okay, so what does that look like? First 30 minutes, 135 grams of carbs. 2 hours later, or 2 hours after my workout, let's say I worked out at noon, by 12:30, I'm trying to get 135 grams of carbs in. Okay, by 2 o'clock, I'm getting another 135 in. By 4 o'clock, another 135, and by 6 o'clock, another 135 grams of carbohydrates. Okay, what does that look like overall? That's gonna be about 500, we'll just go with 500 grams of carbs. Okay, 500 grams of carbs is going to be about 2,000 calories in carbohydrates. Okay, but I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'4", 200 pounds, so I'm going to need more grams of carbohydrates. But really, 2,000 calories for me isn't that much. My daily calorie burn, just to maintain weight, has to be about 3,500 calories. So if I'm looking to put on muscle mass, I definitely have to hit this carbohydrates window. Okay, if you're doing endurance training, if you're doing speed work training, you definitely need to follow these guidelines. Okay, stay strict with it. If you're trying to cut weight, if you're trying to lose weight, I would recommend maybe cutting that in half. So let's say every 2 hours for 4 to 6 hours, if you just did a hard workout, try and get maybe 0.75 grams per kilogram. Okay, but boom, if you're trying to get those gains, if you're trying to put on muscle mass, which I'm trying to do right now, I got a little skinny after my race, but I'm just trying to float around 200 pounds before I start training for my next race. But if you're trying to really see those gains, 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weights in carbohydrates. If you do not eat enough carbohydrates, you will eat your muscle, and you do not want to do that. Okay, so boom, get after it. Also, protein intake, I would try and do about 20 to 30 grams with every one of those meals. As for getting these carbs, for me it looks like a smoothie a lot of times. It looks like an acai bowl, which is a smoothie bowl a lot of times. If I'm on the go, I get a lot of fruit, something like maybe an RX bar. Lara bars are great. Thunderbird bars are great. Sometimes I'll make juice. Sometimes if I'm really bulking, I'll do oatmeal, but oatmeal doesn't really sit with me very well. Pasta doesn't really sit with me. Anything cooked like that, grain-wise, doesn't really sit very well. So usually I'm in the fruit department. I highly recommend the fruit department. One more time, what it is, we got 1.5 grams of carbohydrates every 2 hours for 4 to 6 hours. Okay, especially on top of that, within that first 30-minute window. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you. Add a little protein in there, about 20 grams every 2 hours also, and you'll get jacked. That's what I'm trying to do. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get jacked? If you're not trying to get jacked, cut in half.